The British are coming. The British are coming. Jolly Roger is coming to capture your kids. Well, sort of. Next on the new Variety Art Show. Don't go away.
Once again, here he is, the ubiquitous Brad Zinn.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of the new Variety Art Show. I'm your host, Brad Zinn, as we prepare to meet another exciting guest from the world of Variety Arts entertainment. You know, this is your chance to meet Variety Arts performers on a one-to-one basis and get to know who they are, what they do, why they do it, how they learn to do it, and hopefully the next time that you see a Variety Arts performer live and in person, you'll appreciate what they do just a little bit more. And if you have any thoughts or comments or questions on our program, we encourage you to pick up the phone and call us. Operators are standing by, as they say, at area code. By the time this show hits the air, there won't be any interzone dialing, so you can just call directly, and there won't be a toll charge across the Valley of the Sun. Of course, if you're in Prescott, you'll still need to dial that 1602. And here's somebody who's been dialing 1602 for a long time, our musical director, Mr. Van Corriton.
Thanks, Brad. Great to be back.
Thank you very much. You're still over at the Phoenician Hotel, is that right?
Except when I'm with you,
Except when you're here. Well, we appreciate you stopping by every week and helping us with all this. You know, I collect little items and bits to talk about every week on the show. And first of all, we want to say about the Hurricane Aniki that happened on Kauai. You know, we had the Polynesian dancers here about 2 weeks ago or so, and Suzanne Novak, the one gal that sang, the singer, she is from Kauai, and all of her family was over there. And it didn't dawn on me until later. I talked to them, and Suzanne reminded me that all her family is over there. So, Suzanne, we want to wish you well and hope that your family is all okay. They, of course, couldn't make phone contact for quite a while. So, hope everything is okay there, and I know that the Iacani's was doing some fundraising for the hurricane relief effort. Beautiful. So if you get a chance to see Iacani's live and in person, help them out with the relief effort. Won't you do that? Now, I had an exciting thing happen on a few weeks ago. I was on KTAR 620 AM radio with Charles Goyette, and we talked about public access for an hour.
For an hour? For
an hour. It wasn't too hard because they had a lot of commercials. Unlike public access, they had commercials. So that was on Sunday, September 26th, and we had some calls. Actually, somebody wanted to talk to me, and it turned out to be the two calls we took were two other public access show producers.
Of course.
One was the guy that works on the comic book show, and he called in. I believe they do that out in Tempe. And then the other fellow that works on Peoria Speaks, which is done over in Glendale. So public access people, once again, are the best informed people in television. So thanks, KTAR, for inviting us. We hope that we'll have a chance to be back there again soon. Now, the big story today is the cable regulation bill. As we tape, Bush has vetoed the cable regulation bill, and the Senate has just overridden the veto, but the House has not yet. And so they're talking about this big article in the paper here about the bill in the Greg Joseph, I think it is, Greg Joseph, the TV columnist, was talking about that. And The interesting thing I wanted to point out in this particular article, Nielsen Media Research in July figures shows that the Phoenix cable market penetration is now at 51.3%. So now just barely more than half of you folks have cable television and now can watch the new Variety Arts show. So we encourage you to tune in. Now, we got to cover who's appearing where, because that's important. It's October as we tape. And the good news is it's not raining outside. I don't know how we escaped that.
Yes.
But October means one thing, and that's the Arizona State Fair is coming.
Right.
And our old friend Terry Stokes, the hypnotist, is going to be at the Arizona State Fair at the Arizona Lottery stage. Be sure and stop by, get up on stage, be hypnotized, have fun with Terry Stokes, and be sure you tell him where you heard about it. Tell him we said hello from the new Variety Arts show. Okay, want to mention that Kim Welsh, a magician who will be with us in a week or so, a couple of weeks, is at the Via Luna restaurant up on Bell Road. Flash Covington at Rawhide and at Cafe Creole. Kevin Barnes still up at the Excalibur Hotel in Las Vegas. And we have some other, Fiddlin' Saul Rednick, who was here.
Yeah, Fiddlin' Saul.
Hadn't mentioned this. Thursdays he's at the King and I Coffee House in Glendale, and Friday and Saturday evenings at Tony and Maria's Pizzeria in Phoenix. Now, we have some graphics to go to on the screen. I want to tell you about these shows coming up. They'll be here any moment now. We've got, what shows are they? Oh, yes, the Lynn Roberts Big Band Jazz Show. That's January 21st at 7:30 p.m. in the Alhambra High School Auditorium, 37th Avenue in Camelback. Tickets available at the door. Doors open at 7 o'clock, and I'll be there to do a little magic and have some fun with our old friend Lynn Roberts. Now, also coming up is Michael Finney appearing at The Last Laugh at I-17 and Northern. He'll be there the week of Thanksgiving, November 23rd through the 29th. And our old friend, the Cactus Road Barbershop Quartet.
Yeah, they were great.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Before we do them, the IBM Ring 55, which is the local magic club, is presenting an all-star magic show in March, the 19th and 20th, 2 different shows at the ASU School of Music Theater. For more information, call 934-2057 to get tickets. It's going to be a fabulous show with all kinds of international magic stars.
Are you in that?
No, I wasn't invited. I'm not an international magic star, so the show will be much better than that. Our guest today may be in that show, by the way. The Cactus Road Barbershop Quartet is doing a show at Thunderbird High School. It's called It's Barbershop Showtime, October 24th at 3 and 8 p.m. Now, that's a change from what we've been announcing. They've added a second show at 3 o'clock on the 24th. If you'd like information, call 866-7701. Okay, now we've covered all that material.
Yeah.
And we want to show you our director. You don't have that up on the keyboard. Okay. Want to show you our director, Frank Freeman, made the paper. And these are our friends on this other picture. I don't know how close we can get. There's Frank.
He has a beard, too.
That's right. You have to have a beard to work on this show. And he's taping one of the football games, one of the local high school football games. And now, let me pan over, and there's our friends Bob and John over at the Insight Cable Production Studio, which is actually the Glendale studio, Glendale City Cable Studio. All right, let's talk about our guest today, because we always have an exciting guest from the world of Variety Arts Entertainment, and today is no different. So something British today.
British.
We must be very prim and proper, because we have our friend JolllyRoger here today. He's a brand new resident of the Valley. I would say he just got off the boat, but I don't want to insult the man. You could say that JolllyRoger is now landlocked. He's a delightful gentleman from jolly old England that is perhaps their best known and best loved children's entertainer. He's entertained royalty as well as many, many big name stars and their children with magic and games and sing-alongs and a lot of other things. So please welcome our British cousin, Roger Blakiston. Follow me as we prepare to meet. Roger.
Brad, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Oh, well, it's my job, and they don't give me this show for nothing, you know.
They don't give you that sort of introduction at the BBC.
Well, they probably don't have as much time as we do. So, well, Roger, thanks for being here. Now, literally, as we tape, you have just moved into your home.
Absolutely, today.
Out in Scottsdale. So the very first question I have to ask you is, how does a gentleman from London, England, pick up his family and move halfway across the globe and land in a desert called Scottsdale? How does that happen?
Very good question, Brad. I've been working for the last sort of 15 years in London as a children's entertainer, illusionist, magician. Prior to that, I worked all over the world on cruise ships and so on. I'm lucky to be in a profession where I'm able to more or less choose the locality of where I work. And I thought, let's take a map of the United States of America. We looked at the map, my wife and I. My wife is American. She's kind of wanted to come back over here. I like the Americans.
Now, where is she? Where is she
She's
from?
from upstate New York, a small town called Utica, in the upstate of New York. We looked at Utica, and I don't think there's much work for a magician in Utica. We looked at the obvious choices like New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and then we thought, well, they're a bit too obvious, so let's come a little bit inland. And we came across Denver, and then we thought, well, you know, the winter's there, a little bit like England. Wet.
Very tough to get out of the Denver airport in the winter.
Is it?
Yes.
I've not actually been to Denver, but mind you, I'd not been to Arizona till last February. And
oh, you came in February?
I came in February.
Well, have we got a surprise in store for you? It's called July and August.
July and August, yes. I'm gradually getting used to that. In fact, we touched down sort of, well, end of July, early August, and we've experienced the heat, and we've seen your monsoons. And it was 112 degrees when we got off the plane. And
I love to go down to the airport and watch people get off the planes in July and August, and they get into this, they leave the plane and they go into this air-conditioned terminal. So the best place to go is where the glass doors are that lead outside, and you just stand and watch people as the doors open and they are hit with this blast furnace in July, and the expressions on their faces.
Yes. No, well, it was the expression on all my family's face, except for my little daughter, who's 4 years old. She said, it's so cold. She said, I want to go back to England. 112 degrees it was, one of the hottest days in the summer.
Well, I think you should have her seek medical attention very soon.
Yeah. So we decided on Arizona. I thought, you know, wonderful place. It's a growth area. I'd reached a plateau in London. There's only so much you can do.
Do you know something we don't know? A growth area?
A growth area. Growth. It's expanding in population and economy.
That's right. That's right.
It's now the 9th largest city, going to become the 8th, and property is not as expensive as it is in London, and it's certainly.
Everybody will want one.
So we like it out here. The air's cleaner, except for certain streets. Downtown Phoenix.
Some places just have a little cloud that hang over them. Well, that's great. This must be a terrible culture shock, though, for you. I mean, the rowdy West, the independent people walking around with guns on their hips.
I'm actually staggered how much culture there is over here. I mean, there seem to be a number of magicians around, and you've got a very good theatre, and all of this, you know. I mean, the culture is not. I mean, Phoenix, I have to say, back in England, people do think of it as being the back end of beyond and the westmost western town and so on. And Tucson, they always say, oh, that's where the culture is. But I'm finding plenty of culture over here.
Very good. Well, you know, Van sings opera.
Oh, does he?
Yes, he's a very accomplished opera singer, so maybe sometime we'll have to get you over there to see one of his shows. Now, you're married, you have kids. Most entertainers, how old are your kids, by the way?
They're 4 years old daughter, 9-year-old daughter, and a 10-year-old son.
Well, you've certainly been busy.
So I've been a busy man.
I guess you did get home once in a while from the road. Most entertainers find kids to be the most difficult audience, because if they love you, they love you, but if you cross them or if they sense weakness, they go for the jugular. How do you, what does JolllyRoger do to capture?
Well, for a start, I actually, I actually like children. I think the trouble with a lot of children entertainers, they don't actually like kids. I actually quite like kids, but I think the technique is to be very disciplined with them in a sort of funny way, so they end up respecting you. So if they all walk into a room and get, they all start fighting, especially the boys. I do a lot of boys' parties back in London. You know, they're up there with the knives. You know,
now, are they as we see in the movies and things? Do they all wear the little uniforms and things like that?
Oh, they do. Yeah, those sort of
the
posh,
little caps and
yes.
Does that still go on?
Yeah, oh yes, it does. Particularly some of the sort of posh central London schools that Prince William and others.
But now some of them have orange hair and dress in leathers and chains. Is that
at these private schools? No,
they still are very strict over there.
No, they're very strict. Oh yes, and we have the boarding schools, and we don't. The cane is just about gone out by now, but we get the slipper at the boarding school.
Oh, I see. Okay, instead of the stick.
The stick.
But I would think it would be much easier then to deal with those kids who are used to existing in a very structured environment, Where over here, you know, you tell a kid to sit down and he turns around and says, I got rights.
Yeah, that's actually not
Talk
true.
to my lawyer.
Yeah, now what happens is that some of these central London, you know, all-boys schools, they're hemmed in all day. They don't have much grounds, and when it's, you know, Jolly Roger's birthday party, you know, in the evening, they come out like a herd of elephants. And the more the kids, the more the mums and dads have to pay for the school, the worse behaved the children are on the whole. They have bun fights and everything. Oh, yeah.
Oh, really? So it's sort of like Catholic school then?
Yeah, you asked why I've come over here. Yeah, a bit like Catholic school, I imagine. I want to get away from the bun fights. They tell me they don't do this at Scottsdale parties.
Oh, okay. Well, we got news for you because I've done a few. I want to hold up. You have a very colorful brochure here, and I want to hold this up, and I don't know which. Okay, we'll hold it up to Jerry's camera here, but I want to show, if I can, some of the different colorful characters that that you portray here. Now, it looks to me like this pirate down here. Where is it? Over here. That is the Jolly Roger character.
That is Jolly Roger, yes.
Now, it looks like you do kind of a Western...
yes, I have a sort of England's answer to a cowboy, I suppose.
Well, now, did you put this together just to come over here, or was that something you did over in England?
The Western idea, I suppose, in a way, I have put together to come over here. Also, the one costume you have there where I'm wearing the Union flag, the sort of boxer shorts. And,
right.
And the Union Jack, Union flag.
Union Jack.
Yeah, Union Jack. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So it's sort of the slightly eccentric Englishman, you know. So, but I'm always having new ideas. I mean, I do a sort of a Mad Hatter as well, a Mad Hatter's Tea Party.
Oh, really?
And where all the kids come dressed as, you know, the Dormouse or Alice or the March Hare or whatever. And that sort of, and I have a giant teapot and produce a sort of 12-foot chicken out of it that lays eggs and squirts water at the little brats.
Well, well. Now let's talk about your background, because you. When did you first start doing magic and entertainment?
I started doing magic, Brad, when I was about 9 years old. I suppose I was given a box of magic tricks by my folk, as we all were. I would imagine you probably started.
I started about 9, but
about 9, yeah. And you know, most kids give it up after a few months or a few minutes. I've stuck with it for the last you know, whatever it is, 30, 40 years.
So you were a very lonely child, is what you're saying?
I was a lonely child. They were all out playing soccer and rugger and all the things that boys do in England. I was up there practicing my Elmsley count. Or
that's kind of an insight. We won't explain that.
We won't explain that to these lay folk. Yeah.
So, but then you really started working for adults, then, didn't you? I mean, isn't that what you first
That is correct.
did?
That is quite. Oh yes, I never thought I could make a living as a children's entertainer, and I still very much do adult shows. And I worked for, you know, several years, as I mentioned at the beginning, as a magician on the cruise ships.
Now tell us about that. Where did you sail to?
Well, I did a talent show over in England, something called New Faces. I think you had a show called The Gong Show or something over here.
Right,
that type of thing, where they actually criticised the acts. It was the most terrifying experience.
I've seen clips of this.
Yeah.
Instead of just gonging you and dragging you off, the judges actually tell you how bad you are.
They tell you what. Yes.
Is there another show like it in Australia? Do they?
Yes, they do, and I've been on it. I've been on it in Australia, and it's called Pot of Gold.
There you go.
I've done it.
You are a glutton for punishment, is what it amounts to.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's the most awful experience.
So from that, you got picked up to do cruises?
I got picked. Yes, I mean, somebody actually liked. You know, they liked the actor. Oh yes, he's an awfully good chap. I think we should send him off on the ships. You know, so
get him offshore.
Get him offshore. Yeah, with an act like that, you've got to travel, boy. So I was sent off to a 7-month cruise from New York to Bermuda, 3 days in Bermuda, 7 hours in New York every week for a summer season, and I met my future wife there in a pub in Bermuda. She was a passenger on the ship, and she then joined the act. So what started off being like a single magic act, comedy magic act, became a big illusion act. You know, we had all the...
Really?
She was getting in the box. I mean, she was a nurse from Boston, never been on stage in her life, poor girl, and I was sort of dragging her around the world.
Well, at least if you cut her in half, she could administer herself first aid then.
Sure.
Put herself back together. Well, what sorts of things were you able to do on the ship? I mean, what sort of big illusions?
Well, big illusions, yeah. One's fairly limited on cruise ships. You know, because you've got an audience right around you, and without going into secret, there are certain illusions you have to do where the audience are sitting out front.
Straight out front.
But I mean, we did a levitation where I put. And one night, that reminds me, it was a rocky sea. I get her up, and she's cross-legged. You see, up like that. Can't do it on this chair. This is the collapsible Brad's in chair. Yeah. Anyway, she's sitting on the chair like that, and you know, we've got all the beautiful music playing and everything, and I'm passing the hoop over, and suddenly she starts to float like that, right the way across the stage. And it wasn't planned. What had happened was it was a rocky sea. It was a rocky sea, and it was the swaying of the boat, and the whole thing was on casters. So, and everybody's clapping, standing ovation. They thought it was brilliant, but it's never been like it. She was meant to, you know, do it stationary.
Oh my goodness! Well, listen. While your microphone is getting buried there, so while you're fixing that, I want to show everybody that the Arizona Republic has just done an article on Jolly Roger. Let me hold it up here, and this just appeared September 30th in the Arizona Republic. They're in the northeast section, and there's Jolly Roger entertaining some children at, what was this, a Montessori?
Yeah, that was a Montessori, the Sunshine Montessori School.
Right, yeah. And your daughter is in this picture now.
She is,
I think so, isn't she?
Yeah, my little daughter Jessica, she's one from the end here. I don't know whether the camera can pick that up. She's just turned well, in fact, she's turning 4 in a day or two, and I'm going to be entertaining at her birthday party.
Oh, really?
We couldn't afford a professional entertainer.
Oh, I see. So
Jolly Roger done it.
Very good. Now, talk about living in Australia. How did you how did you end up in Australia?
Well, I ended up in Australia. What actually happened was I worked my passage on a ship from Southampton over to Sydney. It took 4 weeks to get there as a magician. I wasn't paid, but I got a free passage, working the passage, did 4 or 5 shows. Over to Sydney, and then I worked what they call the RSL clubs there, which is like they play all the poker machines, and it's a sort of cabaret venue, but it's not an ideal place for a magician to work. I went over there to Australia, and in fact, my then fiancée came over and joined me there, and we got engaged in Sydney, and then flew back and got married upstate New York.
How about that? Now, we're quickly running out of time. You're going to do a little something for us, but before you do that, I want you to tell the story. You've entertained, I got to mention this, Bob Hoskins from Roger Rabbit, his children's birthday parties.
Yeah, on many occasions.
Richard Attenborough, Sir Richard, Attenborough, and also Michael York from Cabaret, one of my all-time favorite films, and also Princess Di's son, the oldest, Sir William?
Yeah, that's William, yeah. He's probably about 10 or 11 years old
Can you tell the story in about 45 seconds to a minute? Just make it as brief as you can, because I want to make sure you get a chance to do this.
What happened in the Prince William situation was charming boy. No, he's a bit of a brat. I can say that on American television. Okay, and he comes on to see my show, first time, 2 minutes into the show, and they're dancing around, because I do games as well as a magic show. Every party I do games and magic, and he falls over and he lands on my PA system. He cuts his eye, the bodyguards come in, and they have to take the poor guy away. So he actually, on that particular occasion, missed seeing the act.
2 minutes in.
The future King of England here
has got a black eye because of you.
Of Jolly Roger, yeah.
Oh my goodness! Now the next day in the paper.
Yeah, the next day in the paper. Yes, his picture was in the paper out there on the balcony. It was the trooping of the colour with the Queen Mother and everything else, and there was Prince William there, and he had a black eye, and it was never picked up by the press, but I knew it.
Unbelievable the way they dogged the royal family over there, and just want to write about every little detail, that they wouldn't mention Prince William's black eye.
Sure, but I think you Americans are going a bit wild over this whole.
Well, as I remember, we didn't start this. Do the card trick here, because
time for a little card trick.
Time for a card trick, Van. Are you ready?
Yeah. This is actually one of the first tricks. I wanted to show you this because this is something that magicians might think, oh, they're a bit strange doing a trick like this. But this was actually one of the first tricks I learned. But when I was 9 years old, I wasn't actually as good as doing it as I am now. We're going to give the cards a little shuffle like this. These are your regular bicycle cards. Brad, could I ask you just to take a card, anyone you like?
Oh, okay. Now, we've not arranged anything. Nothing is prepared, so I'm just going to select a card.
The choice is yours.
Okay.
Have a look at it.
Okay.
Don't let things show to the camera if that's possible. Okay. And just put it back in the pack. It doesn't matter any way you like.
All right.
Okay.
All right, and we'll put it back in the pack.
That's wonderful. Now, we're going to give the cards a little shuffle, so we lose your card somewhere in the pack, and we'll divide the pack up into a number of different piles. Now, which pile would you like your card on? Any one you like. The choice is yours.
Well, let's go over here.
This one here, okay. And was this your card by any chance?
Yes, it was. The three of spades.
Three of spades. I shall explain how this one works, Brad, because it doesn't matter which one you point to, so you do actually find that you've got the three. There you go, on the top of every single one of the piles. Now, at this point, it's just possible, just just possible that you're thinking, oh, maybe Jolly Roger's using a pack of trick cards. Well, of course...
Well, that would be my first guess.
Of course, these are not trick cards. These are a regular deck of cards. As you can see, all the cards, there we are, all completely different.
All completely different.
However, if I was to cut the cards here like that, we cut to the 3, okay? Can I just ask you to give it a little blow on there for me? Just blow on there, okay? And we now find, there we are, the entire pack changes to your card.
The entire
you can see
pack
that, the 3 of spades.
Is the 3 of spades.
3 of spades.
The whole deck is 3 of spades.
There we are. All 3s. Now, if I take the 3 here, we slide the 3 through the pack, it changes to the jack. We put the jack on here, we give them a shuffle, and we're back to a regular deck of cards. I can take the top card. There's the ace, we put it down under the box. Just tap on the box for me, will you? That's it. So the ace jumps up here, and down there we get the 3, you see. And if I put the 3 on here, okay, we can cut the cards like that, and we find that we always cut to the 3. Now, I'm going to show you one. Are we okay for time just for a second?
I think so.
Second more,
I think
yeah? Okay.
They'll let us know when...
Okay,
when
I'll just explain how this works. Now, this is a secret I'm giving away on television, because actually there are 2 halves to the pack, you see. You still may not follow it, but these are all 3s. Can you see that? They're all 3s, you see.
They're all 3s.
Okay. These over here are all different, right? Now, the reason this works, yeah, okay, the reason this works is that if I take the 3 and I put the 3 over there, and I take the top card from here and put the top card over there, you see, we now find that they become all the 3s over there on that side, you see. The top card here drops so beautifully on the floor, there we are. We now find that these are, in fact, all completely different. Okay?
Unbelievable, unbelievable.
And I can show you, see, that, for instance, in the middle of the pack, there's the 3.
Right.
On the top, there's the queen. If I put the queen there and the 3 in there, how come we've got the queen up there and the 3 down there? Yeah? Baffling, isn't it?
It's completely baffling. Did you have a little friend that you brought with you?
Oh, a little friend with me. Yeah, I have. Oops. Down here. This is actually, I brought him with me all the way from England. I don't know whether we've got him down here because he's a bit frisky. He's suffering from jet lag, and my microphone's suffering from some sort of lag. But there we are. I don't. If I can just, we can actually. Yeah, this is Henry here, and. This is Henry. He has actually. He's an English. He's rather sweet. Oh, he's a bit frisky at the moment. He's an English raccoon, and I think what I might do, Brad, if I can, just give him a little bit of something here. So just have a. Come on, Henry. Just have a look because he gets a bit. And if you could hang on a minute. Hang on. Oh, come on. Come here. There we go. I think what I might do actually is. You see, the kids love all this. You see, this is the sort of. Is we might actually hypnotise him. If you would just watch my finger.
Oh, we've had hypnotists on the show.
You've had it. No. Yeah. This has a raccoon ever been hypnotised before?
Never. This is first time on public access.
First time on television.
We're scooping the networks here. We're hypnotising a raccoon.
There we go. So you see now. Okay, Henry, can you watch? Look at my finger. Lost the microphone completely there. Can you look at my finger over here? Come on. Sorry, it's what? Yeah. Henry, look at my finger. You are very silly. Come here. Oh, God, you see, this is the sort of thing we do for kids.
Very good. Now, you also do sing-alongs and other types of things?
Yeah, what I tend to do, if I can just put Henry back in his box for a moment.
Do you need some help here?
No, he's okay. I don't.
Okay. I just don't want him to get away.
Sorry, he's a bit frisky. That's it. There we go. Now, what I do is I tend to organise like a whole birthday party when I'm doing a birthday party. So I do like sort of games and things to start with, sort of games and competitions and dancing and this type of thing, okay. Greet the children as they arrive, take over the whole of the first half of the party, which can be anything up to an hour. Then they break in the middle for their birthday tea or cake or whatever. And afterwards I do a sort of lively magic show. I get the kids up and I float one of them in the air. I don't just do sort of regular magic. I do sort of quite clever things, especially with older kids, you know. I might even saw them in half or cut their head off or cut their arms off, that type of thing, you know. And then we'll normally finish a party with a sort of a conga line around the room, and that sort of nicely rounds the thing off, you know. So Mum doesn't have to do anything, you know. She can go off into the other room and have a glass of sherry, or she can watch the whole thing if she likes.
Well, I think that Phoenix and the Valley of the Sun are ready for you. That sounds like a fascinating way to spend a birthday party. So we're going to say thank you for being here. The time has gone entirely too fast. Thank you, Van. Play us out of here with something British, and we'll see you the next time on the new Variety Arts Show. Remember, support Variety Arts in your community. Roll tape. We're out of here. Bye.
Thank you so much.